welcome. KJ Sagittarius here, also known as Lovely, and welcome to KJ's Couch. So, if you haven't been to my channel before, welcome and thank you for coming to my channel. If you're looking for inspiring and motivational content, please subscribe to my channel and you will continue to get notifications about more videos that I'm uploading. And please feel free to comment below and send me a message to let me know what ideas you have and what things you would like me to discuss, and we can just keep growing and building and spreading love and light. All right, so today we're going to talk about remembering things that you're harboring and having baggage, letting go of that baggage, your ego, what your ego is, how it blocks and blinds you from finding out the truth of who you really are and growing and evolving. Also, how what ifs and fear and what fear really is, and how these ego and fear go hand in hand, how these things are tools to get you to progress and evolve as a person, to get to your goals and aspirations, and how fear and what ifs and what if this happens, or what if that happens, what if this goes bad, or what if that goes bad, how those things can prevent you from getting to your ultimate goal and getting to your ultimate purpose and fulfilling your destiny. The definition of fear is a very unpleasant or disturbing feeling of imminence that's caused from danger. It's a reaction from danger. So fear can also be a good thing. You can also use it as a tool. You can use it as a way to give you a warning, kind of like your fight or flight response. So we all have our fight or flight survival skills. We all have our reptilian brain, of course. It's kind of what protects us from danger. We have a lot of technology. We have a lot of, easy access to do things. So how we react to danger and our intuition has been dumbed down because of technology, so we're not as aware of it, of our surroundings, and we also don't really need it as much. So we use it and we channel it in a way where it pertains to aspects of our life that we worry about, because we're so 21st century that we worry about things that aren't life or death situations, like that would be in an instant, like caveman days, things that are more so controllable. But because we are in this day and age, we channel the fear and the fight or flight into areas of our lives that aren't really necessary. It's not necessary. It's like, okay, thank you, I appreciate you giving me that, but I'm gonna move on. But we'll touch base on that. And lastly, baggage. So baggage in this sense would mean, like Erykah Badu, bag lady, like when you have baggage and you're carrying it around and you bring it into your relationships, and you bring your past into your present or your future, and you just bring it to work with you, you bring it home with you, you bring it everywhere you go on dates, and it's just your life. You have baggage. It plays out in your body language, how you treat people, how you talk to people, how you respond to people. It affects you, and some people may know where it comes from, and some people may not even know because they don't really know who they are. Those are some things that we'll be discussing in this video. Let's begin. So let's just start with ego. The definition of ego is that conscious part of your body that controls your behavior. So for example, not my soul, not my spirit, my inner being. That would be my essence, my inner being. My ego is who I am on the outside, who you see, who I display to you, my personality, this person that's speaking right now. When I look into the mirror, my ego is that person that's speaking to you like, girl, you look good today, or you should wear your hair like this, or that when somebody asks you a question or they say something to you, your ego is the thing that's filtering it out. So myself, for example, I'm not very tactful. That's something that I'm working on. I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm very blunt. My soul inner being is a Pisces moon sign, so I'm very emotional and sensitive, and in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, in my being, my essence, who I truly am, my true being, wants to say what I want to say in a sensitive, empathetic way. If I'm trying to say something, like it's sensitive. But KJ, this person on the outside who I see in the mirror, the ego, is not very tactful. So once I say it, it'll come out a certain way, or I'll mean it to be one thing, but KJ will take over and she'll make it a different thing or come off a different way, because that is my ego's being. That is the personality that is attached to this body. That is the personality that came with it. Grown from my environment and who I am and the stars and the numbers and essentially a bunch of things made KJ. So your ego is ultimately and pretty much like a filter. You are a computer hard drive. You just like a computer, it's the hard drive. That hard drive controls it's the motherboard. It's what's making it what it is. So you are that. The ego is essentially malware. It's like the virus protector, McAfee, if you will. It protects you from outside energies and negative energies, and it allows positive energies if it wants to, and it helps you. It chooses who you would like to be around you or who you want to speak to and how you react to things. It controls you, and instead of you being like, oh, running around as a soul and a spirit and just saying what you want and doing what you want, your ego keeps you in check. It helps you not be so vulnerable. If you would be more like a child. If you were just a spirit, you would be easily susceptible to manipulation, and you would want to learn and grow and just be letting anything in, and not having more so like a lack of like an understanding of what you're doing to yourself. So your ego is like a bodyguard. It's helps you. So it's not a hindrance. It's a tool. You supposed to go hand in hand with your ego. It's duality. It's yin and yang. That's what you are. You're one. You're duality. Nextly, let's break down what fear is. Fear is growing from danger. This day and age, we are in the 21st century. So when we had fear, it used to be a tool for us, more of a tool. It still is a tool, which we need to get back to, but it used to be more of a tool because we had survival instincts. We needed them frequently. We had our fight or flight response from our reptilian brain, aka our amygdala, which is in the back of our, the base of our skull, and right in the back of your head. So that is our fight or flight response. When it helped us protect us from getting eaten by lions and tigers and all those things, and hey, stay the hell away from that. In the caveman days, it helped us. These days, it's the 21st century, so we've kind of been more dumbed down in a sense, and that's because of all the technology, media, and just brainwashing and subliminal messages. It's like our brain has gotten smaller, and when we do use fight or flight, it's about things that are not really relatable to survival instincts. Since we are in the 21st century and technology is our main source of living and what we cater to, when we are worried, that's really when we focus on fear, when we use our fight or flight. So let's say it could be something we're worried about: our home life, our finances, our work, our health, which is really important. But when it's not about life or death, when it's something that could be minor, like drama, or this person does like me, this person doesn't like me, your brain gives you that fear. It gives you thoughts of negativity. So because we don't really use it so much as, oh, I'm about to die, we use it more as, oh, I'm going to lose my job, or oh, this person doesn't like me, or oh, my wife is doing this, or my husband's doing this, or oh, I can't get in a relationship. And then we birth thoughts like consistently that thread along from those thoughts. So that is why fear, a lot of the thoughts that we have are not, I don't want to say they're not true, but they're not considerable. I wouldn't take them into consideration so much, because it's an instant reaction. It's your human DNA to think of the negative. It's who you are. That's how you survive. You're supposed to think of the negative. The thing that people do that kind of prevents them from reaching their goals with that is that they think of the negative and then they psych themselves out. They psych themselves out of getting to it and achieving it and taking that step because they psyched themselves out of a thought. They could think like, oh, I want to do this, or I want to take that job and move there, but what if this happens, and what if that happens, and what if I lose this job, or what if I get down there and this happens, or what if I get, and then essentially, ultimately, in the end, they don't even end up doing it, or they don't even end up moving or going or anything like that, and they never, and then they could be 10, 20, 50 years from now, they may not ever feel fulfilled, in just those cases where they could have found their route eventually, but they could have got there quicker, or they may not have ever gotten there, and it's because a thought psyched them out. They got afraid of their mind. They got afraid of their own head. Like, aren't you supposed to be in control of you? Aren't you supposed to be your own master? Like, you're supposed to be able to control your mind and use your mind and know what's going on in your own head. And you let yourself tell you not to do something. And even though you knew inside you really wanted to do it, how did you tell yourself not to do something? Is it because you really didn't want to do it and you just wanted validation to not do it? Or is it because you really were fearful of all those thoughts that you had? And when you have those thoughts, you're going to automatically birth other thoughts. That's the negativity. It's going to birth the other thoughts. But you counteract those negative thoughts by letting them come into your mind, taking it into your mind and saying, okay, what if this happens? All right, what if I lose my job when I go down there? All right, so that would be really bad if I lose my job when I go down there. Okay, so what can I do, like beforehand, before getting down there, to prevent me from losing my job? Maybe I should set up another job down there at the same time, or maybe I should set up a bunch of interviews. Okay, so that solves that problem. And then the negativity, the fear and the worry, the amygdala will say, well, what about this? What if you go here and then this doesn't work out? What if none of those interviews call back? Okay, if none of those interviews call back, what do I need to do to make sure I don't reach that point before I get down there? Maybe I should make sure I have a car and I drive for Uber. Maybe I should have some sort of income and get a car for Uber. Okay, so then you're like, okay, well, that solves that problem. And your mind's like, all right, well, what if you get down there and you can't register your car? What are you going to do then? What are you going to do if you can't register your car? All right, so what am I going to do beforehand that is going to prevent me from getting down there to be able to register my car? All right, so maybe I should look up all of the things in the DMV that are down in that area in order to make sure that my car is acceptable for where I'm moving to. So, well, thank you. That solves that problem. So that is how you combat your brain. You grow. You don't let the negativity take over. The creative side of your brain is the right side. That's the imaginative side. That's where the creativity comes from. That's where lies are. That's why that's creativity. They can make up lies. So they're kind of staying over there. That's why they have right wing, left, right, blue pill, red pill, all that. Positive, negative, all that. So your creative mind is over here. And it's going to pop up and spew negativity. Don't look at it like, oh my God, I'm not going to do it because I think of this, I feel that. Look at it like, okay, these are warnings. These are survival instincts. These are possibilities. You don't go into anything without a plan, right? You always make sure you map things out and you organize. You say, this is a possibility. You make sure you exit out all possibilities. You X out all possibilities so you know that it works out. You have a tunnel vision and all the other exteriors and possibilities that could have been possible, and the negativity that people might have said or ideas you might have got thrown at you, you've already thought of because that is what your brain is for. You're a human too. You know what people may be thinking or saying, or there's other ideas. You've already thought of those possibilities. So you use that right side and you say, okay, thank you, I appreciate that. And then you come over here to your intelligent brain, your logical thinking left side brain that thinks logically, and you say, okay, what can I do to get this to stop happening? What can I do to get this to work out appropriately? And then you can write those things down, pros, cons. That's why they have pros and cons. And then you weigh them out, and then you attack. You visualize and attack. That's the quote, right? You visualize and attack it, like Waterboy. That's what you have to do. You just go at it, you know. And that's what all that negativity is for. It's not to psych you out. It's not to tell you not to do it. It's to tell you what not to do so you can learn from it, or you can prevent it from happening. And psyching yourself out of a thought is no bueno. It makes no sense. You psyched yourself out of something that you didn't even do yet, and you didn't even know if it could happen yet. You could have been there, or it could have gone the opposite way. And even if it didn't work out, failure is a learning lesson. Then you tried that, it didn't work. Okay, now you know that's not going to work. I'm not going to try it that way again. I'm going to try it this way. That doesn't mean you just don't do it anymore. It just means that you tried out that way and it didn't work that way, but it may work another way. So next we could talk about baggage. Baggage is a thing that I feel like a lot of us have without even knowing it. Majority of us don't even know that we have baggage. Some of us don't even know how it affects our lives, how it plays out in our personality, how we react to things, respond to people, work, relationships. Baggage is something that you need to drop, because why? It's weight. It's heavy. When you're carrying groceries and you get a whole bunch at once, you're not going to go up and down a flight of steps with it. No, you're going to want to, make sure once you get to your destination, you just drop it and then you keep going. Like, you don't want to carry around baggage because it weighs you down. It weighs you down and it affects other people because you're so heavy. So what are some types of baggage that we can talk about? So some types of baggage would be parental issues. You could have daddy or mommy issues. Daddy issues in the sense that in some cases, some women are searching for love in the wrong places. They could be searching for love in the wrong male figure. If the father was an absentee father, they could be searching for love. Or if he was an active father, they may have high standards that wouldn't meet the type of partner that they may have or may be seeking, or they just may be too high because that person might have been spoiled. Any of those examples could counter or could be examples of daddy and mommy issues. Not having parents, it can cause a lack of emotions. If people that are absentee mothers and fathers, or with their children, could cause their children to have lack of emotions, or it could be standoffish or closed off. And the advice that I would say to that is for those children would be, you can use your relationship as a guide. So if you have daddy or mommy issues or parental issues, because I feel like we all have them, that's like our answer for everything. When somebody says something, somebody's like flipping out or like being a brat, and they're like mommy issues or like daddy issues, because there's no perfect parent. Everybody, there's one thing that a parent does that's wrong for this one, and then there's this parent does the same thing and is right for this one. It's perspective, it's perception, it's how you raise your kid with your beliefs. So everybody's got it, and it's somebody else's opinion how they think you have mommy or daddy issues. But when they're overboard and they're obvious and they're psychiatric level, I would say that you should talk to someone about something like that. And you could also use things in your life as guides, like especially your relationship. So if you have a relationship with a boyfriend, girlfriend, what have you, you can use them or your relationship as a way to learn. You can do this in any situation really, but be more vulnerable. It's hard because you have those issues, but if you try to be more vulnerable, you'll figure out why you do have those issues. It could be something traumatizing that you didn't even remember, that you didn't even know. I actually have someone in my life that I know has some baggage, and he thought that he was abducted by aliens, and this is like a real thing. He legit has been thinking this for years, and I was conversing with him, did more investigating, and it turns out there were outer elements and other other aspects to take into consideration that he didn't even remember or think about. And the more that we discussed it, and the more we kind of dug into it, he would remember things. And that has happened to me. The more I discuss things and I'm more vulnerable, and I learn that why I act the way that I do, or why I may be angry more often, or why I react to certain things or certain topics sensitively, and I forgot all about it. And if you use your relationship and your partner as a mentor, as a guide, as a time to be vulnerable, you can learn, you can grow from them. And that's why, even if it doesn't work out, they say you take that into another relationship and you learn from that. You learn from past relationships. So you use your tools that the universe provides you as ways to grow every day for your own personal journey. You use what the universe gives you to grow yourself. So, and some other examples of baggage would be work life, finances, education. So in your work life, let's say that you're terminated, or you were harassed at work, or bullied, or you were overworked. And if you bring that type of baggage to your work life and how you are at work, how you treat people, maybe you were bullied previously at an old job, and you feel like at this one you have to come in there and you have to show your confidence like you were in prison or something and just beat up the biggest person there. And then that already sets a tone now for your job and how people perceive you, and now you look like the bully from the old job, and that might even have been how that bully got there. It's because something previous. Everybody has a life story, and then you see it and you're connected to it because you're the protagonist in your story. So everybody else is just actors in your play. So that was probably like your future, and now you just played it out. So that's why you have to let go of the baggage. It's like a lesson to you. So that would be something from your work life, like your finances. Let's say that you used to be really rich and you used to have a lot of money, and currently your financial status is just not where it was before, and you're unhappy with that. So now everybody that you meet, everybody that you interact with, you're constantly talking about money, or you seem cheap, or you seem frugal, or you seem like you had high standards for who you are. Not saying that you can't have high standards, but your mouth is writing a check that your butt can't cash. So you're kind of overboard with finances and money, and having money or not having money. And it may play out in your relationships, it may play out in your home life. You may be constantly worried about money. Maybe you're married and you're just always talking to your wife or your husband about finances, and that's causing stress. And instead of just living your life and figuring out a way to supplement your income, and maybe focusing all that energy and stress into growing and being positive and getting a job and figuring out how you can change your finances, instead of focusing it in such a negative way, like ruining your relationships and putting yourself in more debt because you see negativity, you vibrate negativity, you're gonna get the negativity. You're gonna get what you want, because your mind doesn't know the difference between I want this or I don't want that, or yes or no. It just brings you what you think about most. That's what it does. It brings it to you. So you're stressful, you're worried about, you're wondering, why does this always happen to me? You're doing it to you. You're manifesting it, and you're vibrating it, and you're not even knowing it. Education could also be another thing, in the sense that you may not have had the best education growing up, society wise. I don't feel like you really need college degrees or everything to operate like a worker in this life, but some people hold high standard to that, and you may feel inferior to other people that you're around. You may not want to speak up more. You may not want to give ideas because you don't think they'd be smart enough. You may be more timid. It could affect you, and you could hold things inside and not be able to speak them out because you're afraid. And when you get home, you could take that out on yourself or your home life, or and just not being true to yourself and who you really are. Education could also be, maybe you have pressure from your family and your friends to join them. Maybe you're trying to go to college and your family, your friends or your family has gotten into this school and you haven't gotten into it because you weren't able to, because of maybe grades or your GPA, and you ended up going to a community college. I went to community college, but some people think that that's inferior to a university or a bigger, well-known school. And because of that, because of jealousy, because of envy, you bring that into the people that you meet and you see. And every time you meet people that may have what you see as a greater education, you react differently to those people because of your history. You came from community college, or you think you're more educated than me, or how you react to people because you're affected by what you were then, or jealous. Another example of baggage to help learn from would be previous relationships, bad previous relationships, possible abuse, cheating, and one of the biggest ones would be lack of communication and neglect. So in your relationships, that's where you bring the baggage at the most, your relationships, because that's when you're most vulnerable, when you're with your mate, when you're with someone. If you bring that previous feeling of neglect, if you were cheated on or if you were abused, into your new relationship, those feelings will play out in the present. When you want something, you vibrate it, you feel it. Like when you're happy, you feel happy. So that's why people say, think of your happiest moment when you're sad, because it changes your mindset. You vibrate it, it's a frequency, and then you bring it to your present. I like to take feelings from the past and bring them into the present. So for example, I'll think of a time where I was really happy in that moment, and when I'm feeling really sad, or when I feel like I want motivation for something, or I want to be able to push myself, if I can't do something, or I feel like I can't do something, I'm going to think about a time when I had the courage and I had the bravery to do it, and I'm going to borrow that feeling, bring it to the present, and that is going to get me to be able to do it. So that's kind of similar to past bad relationships, and using the baggage in that sense negatively, where you could bring those feelings in that way, where you would bring the trauma from the abuse or the PTSD to it. You might nag them, or you might yell at them, or you might be more timid towards them, or feel like you can't be verbal with communication because you had lack of communication in a previous relationship, and you feel like it's unnecessary to voice your opinion about something or how you feel about things. You were possibly neglected in a previous relationship where, by moms, dads, cousins, brothers, any family member, or a mate, any relationship or friendship in your life, you could have been neglected. And that's a really big thing, that people get neglected in relationships where they don't feel like their needs are being put in motion. They feel like they're not getting the attention that they're looking for, so they run and get it elsewhere. And you may possibly bring that to your new relationship, being as though you may look elsewhere because you're so used to not getting attention and you don't think you will get attention. So baggage pretty much sets you up where you think you know what's going to happen because you're basing it off the past. So it happens that way because you plan it out that way, you manifest it that way. It happens that way because if you think it'll come to you, and you're like, oh, see, I knew it would come. You knew it would come, right? You knew it would come, so it came. That's why it came, because you knew it. So lastly, just to go hand in hand with baggage. So lastly, just to go into baggage a little bit more, I would say blocking out trauma would also be an example of baggage. So you know how your brain blocks out certain areas of things that they don't want you to remember when you're a kid, your child, something might have happened to you where your brain blocks that out. That is unknowledgeable baggage you don't know about. So some people may question why they have certain thoughts, or why they think so negatively, or why they take things out on themselves, or why they react a certain way to people about certain things, or when people come up to them, they may not like certain types of people. They may not, respond positively to some people, and that may be because of something they are blocking in their mind, something that they don't know about. So those type of people can either choose to move through life that way, lose friends, build negative karma, and not really live a fulfilling, pleasant, happy life, or they can choose to question themselves and think, where does that come from? Why do I do that? Why do I react this way? Why do I, think that about those type of people, or people that treat me like this or come to me like this? Why do I do that? And it may be because you have something internally, or you have something that is unbeknownst to your ego, that is unbeknownst to you, but your subconscious knows about. Your soul, your spirit, your essence, your being knows about that, but your ego may be blocking you from remembering what that is. So you could use that in a way where it could affect who you are and who you really are destined to be. Some people who are blocking out trauma without even knowing that they're blocking out trauma, they could use things to cover up, to not remember. Their ego, their consciousness is doing that for them. They could be using drugs or alcohol or sex or anything that could give them a numbing feeling that would cause them not to remember why they act the way they do. They could just have turned into a drug addict. Let's just say that as a child, they don't remember why their childhood, what happened in their childhood, why they're a drug addict. Maybe something traumatizing happened to them, and now they're a drug addict. Instead of trying to figure out why they're a drug addict, they just continue to be one. But ones that question why, they continue to go on their journey to dig and probe and figure out why they are the way that they are, and then they find that trauma that they were blocking out was causing them to medicine themselves by using drugs or sex or alcohol or things like that. So blocking out trauma would most definitely be one of the biggest things that can cause baggage. Not remembering something, and your ego, your fight or flight, your ego, your protector, your filter, your bodyguard, is stopping you from remembering what that is. Because if you crack that, who knows what's behind there, right? You could, it's anything. Some people might go schizo. But don't you want to know who you are? Don't you want to know why you operate the way you do, or why your brain would block that out? I want to know all the aspects of my mind and what's in there. What is in my memory, past lives, anything like that. Any possibility I would like to know about. All right, so I know baggage was a lot, but we all have it. So that's why it's such a prominent topic to focus on and delve into. So in closing, your ego and fear and baggage, they're all just a bundle, just a bundle that you paid for, and it's all attached to you. You have to figure out who you are. You have to see that their greatnesses and their good things are not so much as weaknesses, they're strengths. You have to use them to your benefit. When one does one thing, you have to counteract it with this. You have to bring them together as duality and become one, and use them all as tools inside yourself. Quiet your mind, meditate, pray, do whatever you need to do, but figure out who you are as a whole and grow and evolve and reach your goals. Don't let your ego stop you from reaching your ultimate goals. Don't let your fear psych you out from doing something and achieving your goals. Be consistent. The first thing that you can do is just do the first thing, is take the step, is to do it, is to see if anything will happen. You sitting there thinking about this or that, or what if, or this or that, you're never going to move in that way. You're the first step to achieving your goal is taking the first step. Manifest it. Make it happen for yourself. If you see it, you believe it. If you believe it, you can see it. So manifestation, believe in anything that's possible and it'll play out into your reality. You are the protagonist. You are the star of your show. Everybody else is extras. You are in control of your destiny. You make it happen. You just put a little bit of work in. You put good karma in. You pay the universe back for, making you the star of your show. You make the world better because the universe wants you to reach your goal. It wants you. That's why it puts you there. It has a plan for you and it wants you to get there. So you psyching yourself out of it is just part of your makeup. But it wants you to fight that and know that that is for you to survive. That is for you to see other aspects around it. But I still want you to do this, and you don't want to fall deep into that pit of not doing, not achieving, not doing something because you're afraid or you're fearful. You want to make the first step, manifest it, make it happen, do it, achieve it. And just by putting your foot out there, watching this video, and feeling a little bit of motivation, you can make that happen. You can use the tool that I stated previously. Have a feeling from the past of when you were happy or when you made that goal happen, or when you got that job, or when you got that promotion, or when you got that car. That feeling that you got when you achieved it, that feeling, you take that with you and you put it in your future goal, what you're trying to accomplish now, and you bring that with you, and that is motivation. That's physical motivation. You remember how it feels, you put it in your mind, you put it in your heart, and you pray about it, you motivate about it, you ask about it, you put it out to the universe. You say, I would like this, bring me, and it would be great to have it in a presentable time that is appropriate for you and me, and it comes to you because you feel it, you relate it to something. And that is how you time travel, and that is how you bring things to you. You manifest things to you. So the negativity, don't stay in it. Don't let the ego talk you out of it. Let the ego guide you. You say, thank you, ego. I appreciate it. You telling me these things that are possibilities. And I'm going to, take it into consideration, and I'm going to plan it out and make sure that I don't let that happen. You use your ego and who you are to your benefit. Make sure you delve deep into yourself and you ask yourself why. Why did I just react like that? Why did I just do that? Why did I do this? So you can continue to grow every day, because the more you continue to grow every day, the more that the universe sees that you're growing every day, the more that it'll bestow upon you the things that you request, that you're asking for, because you're shaping it, you're making it happen, you're figuring out yourself. You're putting it out there, you'll figure it out, because you're the one that's doing it. You're in control. You get assistance from the universe, the ultimate being, and the higher power, the number one creator. That is your assistance. That is your dial up. So using your ego to your benefit, don't let it block and blind you from achieving your goals. Let it guide you. Let it show you. They're not blinders. They're glasses. They're magnifiers. It's trying to zoom in on possibilities and other dimensions and things that it's trying to tell you, like that. It's like predicting. It's like that's your intuition. So continue to grow, continue to spread love and light, continue to achieve your goals and push forth for your goals. And whatever you feel like you want to do, you can do it, as long as you're not affecting anyone negatively, you're spreading love and light, and you're fulfilling your destiny. And that is what is the most important thing, is to fulfill your destiny and your ultimate purpose. So thank you again. Please subscribe, KJ Sagittarius, and spread love and light.